malicious compliance. Well, most of us are doing their job, but they'll find some of the ways for dealing with a difficult customer or wanted to get things out of the way and trying to give them for free or something more cheap. Well, this sub is just for you. If anyone wants to deal with the customers, just like in retails or in other services, be nice to other people because they are working hard just to you. Okay, they don't pay for for your complaints and all such. So today I'm going through some of this. All right, today I'm going through the subreddit for you. And that, right, my friends, is r/malicious compliant. You could see me in the camera, but that's okay. Hold on. Let me find something in the camera now. Hold on. There we go. Okay. All right. Good. I already fixed this up for you, so you don't have to. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let me pause here a second because I'm gonna deal with. Let me pause. Here we go. r/malicious compliance. I'm gonna go through some of the stories that they have posted right here. So I'm gonna this around. It's called "Bitchy About My Appearance." I'll change it for you. All right. This story features malicious going towards multiple people, particularly my parents, boss of my old job, and the grandmother. Okay, here we go. I don't call myself God necessarily. At the very least, if I did, it wouldn't be my only label. Suffice it to say, I like dressing in like something undead and Victorian, much of the horror of the staunchly religious parents and many other adults in my life. Last year, I finally moved out and got myself a job. Yet, some of my family and even my boss at my job are incredibly rude and controlling of me and adults. Appear, why it can be whatever you want to be. Once on my day off, I answer a video call from my parents, which they proceed to berate me for the lack of color in my office. Really, no. How are you? Just straight to complaints. I was like, let them be let them be. On the God mode. Okay. It's not afraid. It's not a phase. Okay. It's something else. You can be emo you want. Emo is not a phase. Okay. At this point, I have enough. I'm an adult who can make my own decisions, and I have a plan. I promised them, oh, so sweetly, to add more color to my appearance if they stop complaining and they agree. Okay. At this point, I need to become something from work. Wondrous. A rare opportunity to wear my usual clothes in the workplace instead of my uniform. Again, my boss tells me I only wear black, that I need color. Around to confront the man who repeatedly tells me I'm only allowed to wear neutral tones for my uniform. Don't have to be. You can wear black all the time. I have to wear something more colorful because that doesn't describe you. Doesn't have to describe you at all. Okay. I tell you, it doesn't feel need to worry because I'll be very colorful tomorrow. No, boss. Gotta let her be. Okay, next morning I clock into work with a giant grin and the brightest electric blue punk rock mullet they ever seen. My boss trying to smile doesn't reach his eyes and his fists are clenching his pen. Oh, I thought you said I needed more color. I smiled instantly. Later, on call with my parents, dying here is unholy. That look like one of those liberals. Tragic, truly. Whatever will grandmother do? I mean, you asked for it. You gotta wear something neutral? Wear something very colorful? Well, you asked for it. Add that little mullet here, and that should do it. Okay, yeah. I haven't spoken to either of them since I got a new job. Regardless, my mental health has improved noticeably, and my hair is now dyed. It's black. Because as much as I like it blue, black is my favorite color. Too long did not read. My family and boss at work talking smack about my gothic wardrobe's like color. So I dyed my hair blue, which they hate even more. Wear more color. Okay. Wait, no, not like that. I mean, do whatever you wanted to do with what you're wearing, okay? It doesn't have to be, you can stay in black. You can change if you want. If you want to stay in black and stay that way, because that describes God, then be that way. All right, comments. Yep, I like you a lot. That's a great comment there. That was a hair-raising stunt. Yeah, it is. Wear something more colorful. Well, I'll change only just my hair to blue. How about that? All right, yeah, yeah. As an adult God, I feel your pain. My parents never really give me crap, but my coworkers like joking that I'm so colorful when I come in wearing like gray. Doing great. Talk about what they wear and how offensive they is. It is. I mean, what they're wearing might be something else. So yeah, keep on the emo because it's not a phase. I would have sent the parents a message since nothing I do please you two. I'm going to please myself by cutting two toxic people out of my life. And in case you did not realize, I'm talking about you too. Oh, that would have been a great way. All right, let's get to the next one. Okay, this one's very short and it makes sense here. Okay, Copy and paste 2000 day fields daily? All right, here we go. I joined a new extreme disorganized team. My manager who plays the game in corporate well has somehow made it look like our problems are due to the new person, me. Their resolution, quotes, to their disorganization has been to ask me to copy and paste fields from forms all day, every day, from dates to tracking numbers. Then we'll call on me any moment of the day to share a specific data point. I'll explain how unreasonable this even suggests we pull reports and automate, but that's too complicated and will take too long. They originally did this by hand. I've been told these are the rules. So what did you do? I've now pulled the reports, automated the job, made some pivot tables, and my 8-hour job is done in 10 minutes. Well, I'm not saying anything. They think I'm slaving away, organizing, tracking numbers, and they scouring data input from my master when called while I'm working on my second remote job. That's good. You have another job to back up. I just walk in my office from time to time with my sad face while my boss smiles smugly. Okay, then you've done all the report and they give you some specific rules. That's what they could definitely bend the rules too. Do all this in one go in less time. I love this one. Be sure to tie to your using accounts so you leave and causes all the nicely automated reports to go away. Oh, wow. Okay. This is malicious anti-compliance, but still sounds fine. Yeah. It's like malicious they're doing the job even more officially than asked. It's benevolent non-compliance. I agree with that. Okay. Yeah. All right. I did a contract job where we had to copy and paste between systems, remoting into the machines and change specific settings, update spreadsheet to keep track of our progress, and communicate with the remote technicians. I used AutoHotkey to build a console to do everything, cutting down an hour work 2 minutes. Wow. They rewarded me by cutting my contract since they had to work. They had no work left for me. And some other comments. Exactly why Obi should never let his employer know about his automation. I implement many automations management, and the automation application providers always say the automation is to relieve valuable employees from needing to perform mundane tasks so they can be free to perform more challenging tasks. Don't believe that HR speak first in instance. Every automation implement always led to employees being let go. Period. Yeah, most of the days right now, they have covered something with the AI. Now it makes it very easier, and with using the automation, it's easier, and we get ourselves done in no time, and they let us go early just for the speak a bit. So it'll be easier for you to, yeah, it's easier to just automate some stuff. But hey, I love this comment here. People with these are the rules complex drive me insane. We creates the rules. We work at the company. Therefore, we make the rules. Yeah, I mean, you created this whole thing. Rules. We added the rules as far as I go. I make my own rules too. So awesome. Okay, this one, next one is will be a great one to read over. Okay, lowest possible fare, lowest possible rate. Okay, back before cell phones and TSA checkpoints, I was working as an admin assistant. Yeah, Ray was my department head and had a great sense of humor. When I was hired on, Ray made sure I understood that I worked for him, even though I would do some office-wide work. He was my boss. Clint was in charge of another department in our office. Flying from my office to a satellite office for a day or two was common for people in both departments, and I was in charge of making stand pre-approved travel arrangements. If someone needed to change unexpectedly, they were supposed to handle those themselves. Clint seems unable to understand that. Didn't even follow that one during training, so didn't learn anything from the training. At some point, Clint decided he wanted to cut travel costs. Lowest fare, lowest possible rate. All right, see how that works. Clint left on the 5 a.m. flight. The lowest rate car rental company didn't keep their cars available at the airport. Clint had to take the shuttle to their offsite location to pick up his car. Sadly for Clint, the shuttle didn't start running until 8 when his first meeting was scheduled to start. Oops, very funny. The client refused to reschedule the day, but agreed to the next morning. At some point, it dawned on Clint that he either had to fly home and back or get a room for the night. He chose to get a room and, of course, call me. One lowest possible rate room coming up. Unsurprisingly, that room didn't have a security on site like he was used to. It didn't have a multi-legged friends. His complaints were true. Probably mean spiders or something. I don't know. Or bugs. Next morning, Clint headed out in the previous day's suit, only to discover that his car had been broken into overnight. Oh. The police took their time arriving, and by the time they were done, Clint had missed his meeting again. Ooh, somehow Clint got the client to reschedule again and decided to take the flight home back the next day. Of course, I was kind enough to remember the lowest possible fare rule, so Clint was booked on the 11 p.m. flights home and 5 a.m. return, even though his meeting was midday. This time, the lowest rate car was at the airport, so Clint got to skip the shuffle. So you can't win them all. Can't. That point, Clint's lowest possible policy had already cost the company at least double what normal trip would have. Not to mention all the time I had spent calling hotels, motels, and car rental companies. The next day, he's on the 5 a.m. flight and makes it to his meeting. I don't know when he realized he didn't want the lowest possible fare at 11 p.m. Okay, I do know he decided to take more expensive earlier flight home both days. Simon discovered that he could change that himself. Next time I saw Clint, he tried to fire me. Too bad I worked for Ray, who knew and laughed about the whole thing. Clint was furious, but there wasn't anything he could do. The company would back Ray, and Ray was backing me. Night. Clint changed the rate policy because of experience, but refused to rescind the lowest fare and lowest rental rate policy. That was until accounting let slip that not only had Clint figured out how to take the higher price earlier flight, he figured an upgraded seat as well. Oh, Clint found himself with an entire department intentionally missing their 5 a.m. flights and were booking for the more expensive 8 a.m., which somehow only had upgraded seats available every time. Rental car reservations were missed and more expensive cars were rented. Meetings that were previously in the office were somehow only available after hours, so clients were taken to dinner. Dinner included alcohol, so rooms were booked at hotels closest to the restaurants and return flights scheduled for the next day. Less than among all lowest price policies were rescinded. Wow. I was allowed to book normally again, and I'm in the missed flights. Upgraded seats and fancy hotels disappeared. Ooh. Dinner meetings remained, but decreased them dramatically. Another of Clint's reputation still hadn't recovered. Wow. He really, really wanted to cut the travel costs. He wants this lowest possible fare and lowest possible rate. But you want those kinds of fare, you want rate, you'll get something more crappy. You get a bad quality, bad service, anything that goes along with bad stuff. Wow. Didn't try to keep up this policy and that didn't work. Love it. Yeah. Price low, cost too high. Yeah. Anyways, found foolish. Yeah. Another this comment. We went through a phase of cheapest options. Considering how low budget for a while, which led to some interesting stays. Hotel in Switzerland with the same stained plastic floor and wall coverings. A glorified hotel in Sweden in a sofa bed in some random Airbnb living room in Germany. Whoa, that's wow. That was very exciting. If you get some of the cheapest options, you get something good. Of course, when the CEO decided to join for a particularly important meeting, he got the same standard for accommodation. Unsurprised that the budgets particularly raised afterwards. And that helps out. Never one time of the exec teams in the company wide email asking to limit travel costs, take public transport, book early, etc. Showed up at an event 2 days later, hadn't forgotten to book the travel and shelled out $1,000 a day. For the same trip, others had paid under $200. Hoo is what the comments. Wonder how many layovers Clint got stuck with. I've seen cheap flights with as many as 5 legs, some of which take you away from your ultimate destination. And then they'll be flight. Fortunately, home was a short flight. Straight shot was always cheapest. If not, I would have had him leave Monday, getting home Sunday for a meeting. Oh, and he might miss some stuff. Ooh, but you get, I mean that, yeah, at least you did lowest reasonable. Was that to figure in a certain amount of convenience and safety. Evidently, Clinton needed to learn the hard way. Objective is for the client meeting. Yeah, and then this final comment says, people like client are too stupid to realize what the object is for these client meetings. Namely, it's to seal the deal, not penny pinch to save the company money. Travel expenses are a write-off, making it hard to travel for your employees. Don't help seal the deal. I mean, those are the money. Those are the travel expenses for your company. You need that particular money for your company. It's a tax write-off. You're gonna give those to the taxes. Might as well buy some expensive flights. Try to cheap out with the least expensive flight. I'll be thinking twice. Okay, this one's real good. Swimming too fast. Had fun suffering. Oh, this is not gonna be a very happy one, but we'll see. That other day, I was at my local pools. I looked over all the open lanes, searching for an uncrowned lane to do some laps. Out of the available lanes, one had 3 people, another had one. Like any reasonable person, I hopped onto the lane with the only a single other person and began to do my laps. On my first lap, I overtook the other person and was told quite aggressively that the fast lane is over there. pointing to the lane with 3 people in it. I'm usually a fast swimmer, but the lap I did was average, if not slow. Yeah. Before I continue, I should mention that literally every other slow person that I've swum with have been completely okay with me swimming fast. Where I swim, there's also an unofficial custom that when 2 people are in the lane, you swim side by side instead of the usual clockwise circle. This person was not okay with me swimming quickly. Was very rude in telling me to move to a more crowded lane. I was, in fact, a very slow swimmer. Well, I thought to myself, I'm definitely not moving to a more crowded lane. I guess I should start swimming slower to appease her. I guess it's my shoulder really hurts from my competition the other day, and I definitely don't want to injure it more. I should do some relaxing kicking. That's really because if I mean I never swim in this particular lane, but hey, you gotta do. If those swimmers are very slow and try to pass somebody, you should share a lane. Okay? I mean you should share a lane. And that's exactly what I did. I did kick. Now my kick is definitely not fast, but I personally did it even slower because obviously this is the slow lane. My kick was so slow the person started overtaking me. I made sure that they suffered. I would start when they were very close to the wall to force them to slow down, and I would swim in such a way that they didn't have enough space to overtake me. The best thing happened about 10 minutes after I started my malicious compliance. 2 other old timers jumped into our lane. Now I started swimming in such a way that I would be next to the old timers in a way that suggested that I would overtake them, but I never seemed to be quite fast enough to actually overtake them. How unfortunate. This formed a wall, and I would occasionally look back to see the person stopping every few seconds to not run into anyone, looking annoyed every time they had to do so. Eventually, they got so fed that they hopped out, and as soon as they did so, I started swimming at my normal pace again, making sure that every time I finish a lap, I would make we'll say eye contact, to further annoy them. The old timers weren't upset that I was swimming faster. In fact, no one who jumped into that lane was. Nice. Hope that person learns their lesson and never tries to tell anyone that they're swimming too fast aggressively ever again. I'd like to point out that I have no issue moving to another lane or sticking to one side of my lane, but I definitely have an issue with aggression. I mean, let her swim with she want to swim at her own pace. Don't tell them to say, "Oh, you're too fast." No, they are doing their own pace. Yeah, I keep waiting for them to complain about you swimming slow so you could point them to the fast lane. Yeah, it would have been nice in the cake. There are specific certain lanes where if you want to swim slow, there are certain lanes slow. If you want to be in the fast one, go in the fast one. Yeah, Pulsier Center explicitly gave lap time ranges for fast, medium, and slow on the sides at the end of the lanes. Those are very handy when you need to have this kind of conversation. Yeah. Found that just having a nice polite chat to a lifeguard is great to find out rules can be acceptably bent. Also get some problematic move along. Yeah. No one problematic move along. You go, yeah, okay. I like this kind of idea. All right, this is duck move. There are usually set lanes for fast, mid, slow, and you go with your pace, even if it's more crowded. Crowd doesn't matter if you're matching. I hate it when someone significantly slower than me gets in the lane, and I think it goes both ways. If you're fast, don't get in the slow lane. Yeah, true. And people start complaining about the swimming pools. Yeah, always make sure where the lanes you're going, it's all there. Okay. And if you're swimming at your own pace, you gotta find a lane. And if they wanna pass you, if they let you pass them, they can. All right, next one. Very short. This will do the trick. Insurance company wants the forms. Okay. The lady's post who said the government agency wanted all the forms reminded me at the time that I was dealing with an insurance company about a car crash. I was waiting on the check from them and I kept calling. And finally, the guy said, well, we never received your signed forms. And I said, I faxed them on the X date. He said, nope, sorry, no faxes from you. And I said, okay, fine, I'll fax it 5 times this time. And he condescended away. So I did what I said, and I would do it, and every single time I faxed it. I made sure to write an extra page in there saying just making sure you got it or something to that effect. As it in fact fax it 5 times. So, but to us, I received an email letting you know that my check will be sent out the following business day. Yeah, foreign sign. They have to give you the sign. You to sign some things up. Yeah, have to. Yeah, let's see. And people always talk about printing. Yeah, that's funny. That was so funny. All right, I have a couple more left, and I'll call this one a day. Okay. All right. Leave things as the professional said it. Okay. Here we go. I shared this in the comment a while ago, and I was told I would share, so I thought I'd finally get around to sharing it with a little more information. Okay. About a decade ago, I worked for a big name company that had powder thing semi wheels. The GM, who was actually a really good boss, got a trainer to come in and teach me what I was doing right and wrong. After a week, we got things narrowed down with the settings on the machines, and my quality improved a lot. And my quality of wheels, I compete and they improved by about 5 to 10 per day. I was now averaging anywhere from 50 to 65 wheels a day. Awesome. I used those same settings for almost a year before that same GM started messing with them. Oh boy. I had a few wheels from the trash company come to me covered in dried mud one day. Not the first time, it wasn't going to be the last. I had knocked up as much as I could before stripping them and did my best to blow off what dust was left. I still missed some spots and edges. Usually when this happens, I end up with tiny holes in edges of the rims. That day, you had to come back and get a count of paint to see what needed to be ordered. Okay, we got some script. All right, what's with all the holes in the edges of these wheels? It's from dirt. I didn't get it all off when I blew off the wheels. Dirt doesn't cost it. I think your settings are the issue. I'm telling you, it's dirt. Every time we get these customers' wheels in and dry mud all over them, this is what happens. Dirt didn't cost us. I have some people come in to check this out. He left after that. Fast forward to next week, and he meets me in the morning with about 4 other people. These guys are going to look over the machines and adjust things so we no longer have issues. I told you it was dirt. The professional is going to adjust things and you will leave them where they're at. And if you don't, you will get written up. This is not up for discussion. Okay. Message heard loud and clear. I'll leave it to the professionals and not touch a thing. Thankfully, my powder gun had multiple settings. I asked the professional to set his new settings under another preset. Oh, because you've been doing this kind of setting, this particular setting for years and years, and it worked. But on the holes there's some dirt, and GM didn't have it. You want to leave all the professionals to do the work, to do all the working. But they told them to change this new setting. That might work out. I love that. New settings. Wow. A few days go by, GM comes back and sees all my new painted white wheels yellow. And asks why everything is coming out yellow. I told him it was because the oven was set too high. And here's my script. Why didn't you change it? It's over 100 wheels that need to be redone. I was told not to change the settings. The manager said so I didn't touch it. I mean, you literally asked for it, and turned down and told me to leave it. A week later, getting called into the office. One of our biggest customers complained that their wheels need to be removed and repainted after a week or two due to starting to rust. Oh, we deliver over 150 wheels a week to them. Nice. What's going on here? The paint too thin. The customers complaining. Do I need to call a professional back in to look things over? It wouldn't change much because I haven't touched anything on the machine since they were out last time. Just fix it. I don't care what you do. Just fix it. You never questioned me again when it came to powder coating. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. Well, I'm not a car professional or anything, but you did what you asked for. If you want to leave, if the general manager wants to leave the profession do it because of your wrongdoing, let them fix it and not change anything. I mean, it's malicious compliance, so yeah. Oh, please save us from meddling consultants, experts, and professionals. Us numpties who know our jobs will get along just fine without them all. Nice. I like that. I said, what do you mean our settings are wrong? They were just fine in our perfect lab environment. When they did this perfect work, I mean, the settings wrong. We did it and it worked. Yeah, love this comment there. Why don't the wheels get washed before they get to before powder coating? I'm curious about this, and also why your gym isn't. Yeah, and then just all very funny. That's the joke says. That's a wheelie bag. Yeah, I love this one. Don't you understand that with my training combined with my years of experience that you have provided me with, I am an expert in this? I mean, he's the expert. He knows what they're doing. Okay, yeah. Instead of telling Jim the opposite to how you should have told him that you're using the settings professionals said that you haven't changed a thing, just as instructed. So you literally told them what to do. Don't leave it to the professionals, but you had that settings exactly as it was. Didn't change anything. So, all right, let's get down to the last one. I'm really tired here. All right, last one. Me eating apples bothers you? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with the apples, man? What's wrong with the apples? Okay, so I was just reminded of this one that I pulled back in gymnasium. Let's go take a different system. Every time it was for a test, people would bring snacks. I love Granny Smith apples back then. The really hard and crunchy ones. Oh, I remember. So it turned out that there were some of my classmates taking issue with the noise during exams. Oh, said that it was disturbing. Told me to consider if I could bring something else to eat instead. Being reasonable, I said, sure. Since I'm also a little bit unreasonable and got annoyed that I couldn't eat what I like, I went for something that was both crunchy and smelly instead. What did you get? So when the next test came around, I have found the largest yellow onion that I could find, which I proceeded to eat. Apple style, of course, for maximum crunch. The whole room smelled like fresh chopped onions in the end. Sure, looking back, it was probably a bit juvenile, but kind of dickish. But nobody minded the apples afterwards, thankfully. Raw onion is the only only tasty in. Oh yeah, you don't like the apples. You don't like that crunchiness that is so loud. Well, I'm just gonna eat the onion then. Well, you asked for it. I did exactly as what you told me, so here we go. Doesn't mean I changed it. Yeah, that was so good, right? It was so amazing. Okay, maybe this. Okay, you know what? All right, am I too loud at night? How about Sunday at 6? Okay, so this story is not something super interesting, but I wanted to share it because it makes me happy. Okay. I lived in an apartment complex on the highest floor. When I moved in, I was short on time and painted the walls up until 2 a.m. Okay. The letter made some sound and my neighbors knocked. We were almost done anyways. And so we called it quits and thought everything's fine. A month in and I get a letter from the company that owns this building that says something along the lines of disturbance of peace. We got a complaint from your neighbors about construction sounds and regularly use of the washing machine in the middle of the night. What? Please be respectful towards your neighbors and don't be too loud between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. I was pissed since the construction sounds for only once, and I never used my washing machine in the middle of the night, especially not regularly. But I didn't want to start arguing with the company or beef with my neighbors, so I thought since I wasn't doing that anyway, I'll just ignore it. And if there's an other complaint, I'll reach out. So a few weeks ago, I had my sister over a Saturday, and we watched some TV at night, and she accidentally kicked over a glass bottle. Happens. Instantly, there were three loud, angry knocks coming from below, which somehow ticked me off really bad. Now, since I'm obviously too loud, I decided to strictly adhere to the rules and time my washing machine in a way where it ends exactly at 10 p.m. and starts at 6 a.m., especially Sundays. Usually I did laundry around 5 p.m., but I gotta change your heart and hope that my neighbors are annoyed. My machine wakes them up at 6 in the morning on the weekend, just like they obviously wanted to, and they can do nothing about it since I'm not breaking any rules. I get that they're probably trying to sleep, and I know that the 2 a.m. painting session was a mistake. I'm upset, and they reacted to complaints to come in and bang on the ceiling instead of talking to me, like talking to a human being and be civil. People clung to the drop stop. I heard other neighbors vacuum and drop things at night, and I simply don't care. Things happen, but if you want to be childish, I'm going to be childish by sticking to the rules. You know what? If I'm sticking to the rules, hell, I will be sticking to the rules too. I mean, if the rules is rules, well then I'll do the rules. If I want to be as loud as 7 a.m., I will be as loud as 7 a.m. Remember, this right here, this apartment, there is quiet hours between 11 p.m. to 7 p.m. But when it's 7 a.m., I just go. I go hard and be loud. Oh, I love this one. Dear Lord, dear landlord, I was walking quietly in my home one evening when I suddenly heard a loud banging, as if someone in the apartment below was repeatedly banging on the ceiling on the floor. Please, could you treat this noise complaint seriously and advise them to cease this activity? Yeah, that this is CYA. Well, CYA is cover your butt behavior. Should always been addition to malicious lines. Yeah, it's like a reverse in the card. And there's some other people sharing about the story. Yeah, sounds like you need to host line dancing every Sunday at 6 a.m. Yeah, okay. So if the quiet hours is between 10 a.m. and 6 a.m., well, I'm gonna do something ballistic at 6 a.m. You can't do anything about it. Yeah, get some recorder, make some noise, and do whatever you want because I'm just following the rules. You can't do anything about it. All right, guys, that right there is the end of this video. I'll see you guys next time with some new content for you. Bye, everyone.